Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Fan Forum on this glorious Manchester night. United have had a win in not the Champions League. God, calm down, Adam. Jesus. The Europa League. First away game in the Europa League this season. A comfortable 2-0 win against Sheriff. And all in all, I think everyone's got to be happy. Well, I'm going to find out if everyone's happy because we've got Jordan on, we've got Charlie on, we've got Beth on. We'll find out what they all think of the game and how it all went and who stood out the most. And guys, get your comments in as well in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Charlie, first of all, from you, mate, you had a good evening, pal. Easy day, easy game watching there.
Yeah, it's a win's a win at the end of the day. I think that's the main thing I've got to take from it. The go in, get the 3 points, and get out as quick as we can. Pretty much. Obviously, it wasn't the most entertaining of games, but you know it's a win is a win, as we say.
That's it. Jordan, how did you find tonight, mate? Comfortable night, feet up, couple of beers, was it?
Well, it wasn't tonight, was it? It was basically a late afternoon, that kickoff time.
Yeah.
Completely messed with my walk around the port. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of this Thursday night game. I much prefer the Thursday night fan forum with us just having a chat and a catch up than having to watch a game that early. But I think we have to remember where we've come from and where we are now. I'll take it every time.
That's it. Beth, how did you find that tonight?
Honestly, it's like, it feels weird that it's 8:20. It feels so much later. I agree with what Jordan's saying in that. And yeah, it was I wouldn't say it's a good game. We got hold of the game and we won it. And that's what all that needed to happen. Sheriff never looked like they were going to go and win that game. We always looked like we had it under control, especially after the first 15 minutes. Would I have liked to see us play slightly more positive in the last 20 minutes? I would personally, but then obviously you have people saying you just want to get the win and get out of there. I understand that, but the last 20 minutes were quite, boring for me. But overall, I am very happy that we got the 3 points, and that's what's the most important thing.
That is the most important thing out of everything, isn't it, tonight? I mean, I'll start with you, Beth, on that. Strong team. We was all waiting to see how he was going to approach it. We know, obviously, there's no game this weekend, so a lot of people, myself included, would have said no excuse. And he did go all out there, and it pretty much showed, didn't it? It was men against boys for large portions of that game tonight.
Yeah, I actually got the team right for once this season. The first time I've actually got the team right.
It's easier under Hag, though, isn't it, to pick a team?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I got the team right. And to be honest, it was the exact right selection for me. And the substitutions, the Shaw one confused me, but the Casemiro one for McTominay, it made sense at halftime to do that. And yeah, I thought the team was strong. I thought Eriksen again, standout player, did really well. And it's good to get the team, the team that's going to be playing our league matches for us in that first 11. It's good to get them more wins under the belt, more playing time together. And I thought it was actually a really good game I know he wasn't that involved in any of the goals, but I actually thought Anthony had a good game and was a lot more involved this time, which was good to see. So yeah, Ronaldo got his goal, which I think was definitely needed. I know it was a penalty, but at least he's off the mark now. And yeah, there's some positives to take 100%, but obviously you can't get too carried away because that team, to be honest, I didn't think they were that great, and we had to win that game, we really did. But yeah, I'm happy, and also just wanted to add in, I'm so glad Sancho scored a goal in that style as well, because everyone will say it's only against Sheriff. It was still a brilliant finish and brilliant technique. And I was saying just before that, how he's not been picked for England over how many, 13 defenders that he's taken is absolutely crazy for me. And I'm glad he scored that on a day like today as well.
That's it. I mean, Jordan, it was all about the result tonight. Get the result, get out of there. In terms of performance, was it better than you expected, or was it underwhelming for you? How did you see it?
I think, it's hard to get motivated for a game like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, think of us as fans. Like, I look at that stadium, I've seen more people in the queue for next on Boxing Day. It's tough, but that is a classic away fixture. Go there, get the job done, and move on. And I actually think this delay in games and this break, as unfortunate as it is actually a good thing for Ten Hag. I remember you asking the question, Adam, about him having his signings, and he was saying, it is a problem. Well, he's had a couple of games now. There's a chance for him to work with these players, the players to get to know each other, and for him to work on things that he didn't have a chance to work on over the summer. So I actually think we need to take as many positives out of it as possible. I felt like we are becoming harder to beat. I'm going into games now, and I'm sure you guys feel the same, where we're not expecting to lose. Where we were, I couldn't see where we were going to get a win from after those first 2 games of the season. We were all in our predictor. We're all predicting losses going into games. That isn't happening now. And I know we talk about the positive, the hope will kill you. But I actually feel like we can go into games now thinking, okay, we might not be playing this scintillating football that we want to play, but we definitely don't feel like we're going to be conceding goals. And I think after those first 2 games, he felt like let's make us hard to beat first of all, and then he can implement his style on them. So I'm happy with it. I definitely feel like that is his strongest team, barring 1 or 2 changes. I'm glad Casemiro come on and add a 45. He will grow into it. Again, he showed things today that McTominay just didn't. And I know McTominay has played well. And I'm not just going to say by his standards. I'm actually going to say he has played well over the last couple of games. But I still feel like there's levels to this. And Casemiro will take us to another level once he gets up to match fitness. Anthony, again, I thought he showed some nice touches. We want to see more from him going forward. But ultimately, make us hard to beat first. And then we can, start playing our free-flowing attacking football.
Yeah. Guys, I haven't got control of the chat tonight, so I'm just going to read out some chats and super chats, especially from a separate screen. Mark's just finished on his show, and apparently Rory Charlie on the super chat has said, Mark has said you're a great footballer, and we've all got to say how good you really are. Well, he's not come across one of my tackles yet, so I'll judge it when we've actually crossed that bridge. But past that, I mean, in terms of tackling, it was one of them nights tonight, wasn't it, Charlie? I mean, Jordan just said it there. He said he went back to basics after the Brentford and Brighton games. It was pretty much basics for the start of that game, just feeling it out, wasn't it, mate? And then eventually the class players sort of shone through, the interchange from Sancho and Eriksen for the first goal especially. And then it was pretty much United's control from there.
I think, they had their best spell of the game for the first 10, 15 minutes where they showed a little bit, and I was watching it thinking, this could be quite a not necessarily evenly matched game, because I think we were always going to dominate possession and move the ball a lot better than they were, but whether they were going to be almost like that kind of unknown boxer that you just never know where the punches are going to come from. Whether that unknown authority that they were going to bring, but I mean after that it was pretty much plain sailing. And honestly, I thought when Sancho went and scored, and it seemed so easy, I was really expecting for us to go and win 5 or 6-0, to be fair. But I mean, it's very easy in those games to kind of almost take it easy and get dragged down to the level of the opposition you're playing against. So it's understandable. As I said at the start, a win is a win, and that's the main thing. Is obviously the one thing we didn't want to do is draw or lose this game, because then you obviously go into the international break and there's, you haven't got any momentum. So at least we've got the win before then, and hopefully we can take something into obviously the game against Man City when we're back.
Yeah, I mean, Beth in the comment section, it's like every other message is a sue. It's like, okay, he got the penalty, but talk to me about Ronaldo's overall performance tonight, because for me, I thought it was a bit lackluster building up to the penalty, and he sort of just settled down a bit. It's like the goal went in and he just got all comfortable. He got comfortable in himself and the team, and it just seemed to flow a bit better. But it just looked like, and I couldn't figure out exactly where he was playing because he was coming up very deep as well, Beth. I mean, how do you rate Ronaldo's performance tonight?
Yeah, you were seeing Ronaldo drop in and Bruno push into that centre-forward position a lot of the time. Personally, I don't like it. I feel like we have to do that because it's the way Ronaldo kind of wants to play at this stage in his career. Because you saw that happen at the Sociedad game, and it was really annoying with them, like the way that he kept doing that as well, because it leaves like no one in the box at the end of the day. But no, I thought he was better than, definitely more positive than what he was against Sociedad. I thought he was a lot better than how he played then. I think he got a goal, which is what you can ask from his centre forward. But honestly, watching his performance, and I'm not trying to go in on Ronaldo, because I really do rate him, and I think if he's up front, then we don't it's not a negative for us. It is a positive. But overall, looking at the future, I do think we need a number 9. I do. I just think you need someone else there with a bit more energy. It's just certain things that he was doing last season. I don't know if it's because he's early on in the season, he's just getting in his stride. I feel like he had a lot more sharpness to his game, maybe. He's not quite as sharp.
You feel like he needs to play consistently, Ronaldo, to get that?
Potentially, but does Erik ten Hag want to play him consistently? That's the issue, because you don't know if Martial and Rashford are fit, maybe he's not part of his strongest team, which is interesting to see. But I definitely don't think he was a hindrance today. I thought it was positive. I thought his performance was better than the Sociedad game, but was it anything to write home about? No. But you could say that about a lot of the players. I thought some players really did shine and they did the jobs just the way you'd want them to. But people saying Ronaldo sat the haters down, etc., etc. He scored a penalty and he had a decent game. It was nothing special, but hopefully the more it goes on, the better it will get.
Yeah, I mean, do you think the international break will do Ronaldo good, Jordan? Getting away with Portugal, getting a bit more game time, and probably then playing to his strengths. Think he'll come back rejuvenated, or do you think it'll cause us a problem when he does come back again? And it's like he's expecting us to play a certain way, and we're having to make him work rather than him slotting right in.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely two sides to it. Him going away and playing with Portugal, where he's loved, where he'll get some more minutes in him, is a good thing. But look, I put Ronaldo into the same bracket as I put David De Gea. That yes, they can do a job for us to a degree, but ultimately they are going to need to be replaced. And we couldn't fix every problem in this transfer window. We've worked wonders with what we were able to spend and do, but ultimately we are going to have to change it. How deep he was dropping was absolutely crazy. Mm-hmm. And you could see from the reaction of that goal he scored how much he needed that in himself.
Yeah.
You could also see from the reaction of the other players, Bruno running over to him, Anthony running over to him, like sort of, whispering behind his hand about the goal. He needed that. Him suing in front of 900 farmers out in the middle of Europe was relief more than anything. So, I hope that it does. Confidence hits everyone. Everyone. It doesn't matter how confident you are. If you go through a bad patch in whatever you're doing, eventually it plays on your mind. And there's been moments in when he has come on where the old Ronaldo, as we know him, even last season's Ronaldo, would have hit the back of the net. I'm looking at him and he's getting chances, and it's just not happening. We always used to say about Ronaldo, like a half chance to Ronaldo was an open goal to most people. That isn't the Ronaldo we've now got. People talk about him losing a yard of pace. I think he's lost about four yards of pace. He's nowhere near as fast as he used to be, or as explosive as he used to be. So he has to adjust his game as well. But I hope going away builds him some confidence. He's got a goal. I don't think he played great after the goal. I really thought he was going to come in the second half and he'd get a second and maybe a third. But no, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, just want to make sure Jordan does not think that all Moldovan people are farmers. It was just...
no, I meant like a farmers league.
Yeah. That's the one. I mean, talking about that space that Ronaldo left open, Charlie, I mean, I've seen Sancho move into that central role quite a few times within the game. And obviously the goal came from that central position with a link up with Christian Eriksen. Do you reckon there is a sort of ploy from Ten Hag here? Because looking at all of Jadon Sancho's goals this season so far, they've all been in the 18-yard box, all centrally, where he's been on the end of the ball, already being in that position, mate. There could be a style of play here, and Sancho could find himself maybe having one of his better seasons playing this role.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the more you see it, the more it's not just kind of a coincidence, I guess. The more, I guess, it is being worked on in the training ground, and it's something that obviously is working for Sancho and the team. So, why not carry on doing it? I mean, I think as well, to touch on the Ronaldo dropping deep, I mean, I think it almost seems a little bit now that Ronaldo knows his limitations, and he knows that necessarily he isn't gonna run in behind as much, or he doesn't seem as comfortable even necessarily one-on-one with someone now. Even if he was to be played in behind, it's very much if he does get played in behind, it's a long ball over the top from the centre halves, where he can maybe nick like an extra couple of yards ahead of the defender.
He's not really hitting the target much, is he, mate? Either when he does get them chances.
No, I mean that'll obviously be down to, you know, lack of minutes and just lack of, like, you know, because of lack of minutes is therefore lack of them situations. But again, it's more just a shame to see that, you know, Ronaldo is being used as this Europa League / impact sub type player more than anything, I think. But I mean, I think more and more people are slowly coming to terms with what Ronaldo is going to bring to this Manchester United side under Ten Hag. You know, who knows, if there was a different manager brought in, then I'd say 9 times out of 10, and if another manager is appointed, Ronaldo is used just because it's Ronaldo, and you know, they wouldn't necessarily have the audacity to, you know, necessarily drop him and not play him or whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see kind of how this season pans out for him as well.
So can I just jump in on that 1 second? Sorry, Charles. You made a good point. The one thing I'd say is that, okay, people are talking about his age in the comments. And in the Premier League, you can kind of understand that. Okay, he's a year older, father time catches up on everyone. But in this Europa League, he should be cooking teams. Like that team today, you would expect him to put 2 or 3 goals on them, you know, and that is a concern going forward, that if we are only going to play him in Europe, unless he starts showing some kind of form, then he isn't going to get a look in the Premier League.
I don't think when Martial's fit, I don't think Ronaldo starts. I think it's that simple. Or super chat quickly here from Stephen Ross. I'll come to you on this one, Beth, actually. Okay. It says, if Ten Hag's transfer picks keep performing, do you think it will give him more leverage next summer? But I mean, that's a little bit off topic for what we're talking about tonight. But again, tonight, you can't really argue Ten Hag's signings, Beth. They're all really shining. It's consistently as well, Beth, now as well, which is really good.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time maybe we signed like that many players.
5 outfield players with that impact.
And they've all been performing consistently well, and they are all making the team a lot better. For me, they're all players that have to play, and they're the better players on the pitch. So I think it's really important as well. It's not even just the players he's brought in. I mean, it is about that. That was a super chat was about, and I do actually think it can give you more leverage because he can go in the summer well, because we know that they were Ten Hag's picks as well. We know that for a fact. The only one that potentially wasn't his first choice was Casemiro, and he's the one that's not really getting in as much. So I think he can go in summer and be like, well, they've all paid off so far. So, you know, if you do it again, then I've got the same. I think these players are going to impact the same way. So I think it does give him leverage. But just on the Ten Hag and Ronaldo thing, I've just seen a quote come out from what he said after the game. And it says, Ten Hag said about Ronaldo, he's really close. When he gets more fitness, he will score more. He's totally connected to this project, totally involved. And he also has connections that are coming in around him on the pitch. And he's constructing connections with the players. So I'm happy with that. To me, Ten Hag clearly still thinks he's not 100% fit. And I'm thinking at this point, how can you not be fit enough to be starting games? That's something I can't get my head around.
Yeah, that goes to show at that age, Charlie. I mean, you're not at that age yet. You've still got plenty of fitness, but I can vouch. If you give me 5 or 6 weeks off at my age, that ripe old age, then I'm struggling to get back to match sharpness, competing with some of the players that are in this team now, the younger players. But not only that, this isn't last season, Charlie. This is Ronaldo coming in, trying to play Ten Hag ball, which is obviously zapping. I've seen Rashford. We all seen Rashford's videos in the summer, getting fit, running up steps. I've seen him blowing out of his ass after 70 minutes. If he's struggling, then someone like Ronaldo at his age isn't going to find it much easier, mate. So does that sort of make sense where Ronaldo has got a bit of catching up to do because he didn't have a full pre-season either?
I mean, there's nothing quite like match fitness. You know, you can do all the running up steps and all these sprints and stuff with all the cones you like, but there isn't anything quite like, you know, when you play an actual game of football, and match sharpness and fitness will only come from consistent matches. And obviously with him not getting that he's gonna struggle, because you can train, you know, every day of the week and you're just not going to get that full 90 minutes worth of fitness. And I think it will come just over time. Obviously it would come a lot sooner if he carries on playing, but it's not looking that he is going to play that often. So I just imagine that it might take a bit longer than usual for him. But I can imagine how frustrated he is as well. Like, you know, it must
You can
be,
see it on
it
the
must
pitch,
be,
can't you?
yeah, it must be horrible. As I say, like maybe he's almost coming to terms with like his limitations and what he can and can't do, just because there's certain things that he almost seems to sometimes get frustrated with himself as well when he doesn't, you know, if he does a rubbish pass or he tries to hold someone off and it doesn't really work too much. You know, you see him sometimes even like falling over sometimes as well in like little tackles and that. And it's just, and this is the thing, like obviously he's not, I was going to say old age there, but you know, he's not old in that way at all. It's just obviously in terms of the standards that he's been at his whole career, he's just obviously at the twilight years now where it's almost unfair to say that he should be putting up the same kind of numbers and performances, but because we've seen it for obviously so many years, year upon year, it's obviously what we expect. But yeah, I think it's slowly obviously impacting him, and as well when you get older, that it's not just obviously your fitness, it's your recovery time, it's, you know, everything like that as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it's not old age there, mate. Really pleased that you did correct. So correct it there. But Jordan, I want to come to you on this next one because barring a ludicrous penalty decision last week against Sociedad, there had been 4 clean sheets for United in 6 games since that debacle, which was the opening 2 games. So we've only conceded 3 in our last 6 games. That's 3 away clean sheets in a row as well. Yeah. First time I felt confident in a whole back line. And I mean, not just 1 or 2. I'm happy with all 4. And that's down to Ten Hag again and just getting the right combination and getting his players in. 2 changes and we look like a different beast.
Yeah, I think it's something that we said for 18 months prior, that it's just about the right dynamic. Blend, dynamic, and players who actually want to play with each other is half the battle. You can see, you know, they like each other. There's a brotherhood amongst them almost now. That is, when they look to their side, that's who they now expect to see. Like I said, we're talking about the predictor. It's the first time in God knows how long I predicted a clean sheet. I'm now confident going into games thinking, I don't think we're going to concede today. Where before I was like, we're going to have to score 2 because we're definitely going to concede 1. So it's great. And we're talking about Ten Hag signings. Incredible. And hopefully that fills the board with confidence that, yes, we have wasted a lot of money over the years on just buying random players that haven't fitted any kind of system. But hopefully now, you know, we'll sign players that Ten Hag wants. And there's a trust there that he can deliver those players. Because there's talk of another 70, 80 million in January. I'm all for it.
Ooh, please.
I've not seen that talk.
No, Beth's excited now. Jordan's back on the show. He's got everyone talking.
I've seen something come out earlier about that he's going to get given another 70 to 80 million in January. Yeah.
Wow. That goes with that.
If he brings in players half the quality of what he's already done, I'm down.
Leaves that super chat, Beth, that we said there. Does it give him leverage in the summer? Maybe it gives him leverage to actually, you know, push forward in January as well for certain players.
If United are in a good position in January, why not give him the extra push? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I won't get too mad
that is officially crunch time, Beth, because obviously Europe starts up again in February. And that's when it really matters, and that's when the squad's going to be stretched.
And you could have potentially, depending on, it looks like not as many of our first team players are going to be going, but depending on injuries from the World Cup as well, I think it's important. And by that, I mean English ones, with the ones he's left out within Sancho and Rashford.
Yeah, you just went into where I was going to touch on next. I said it on my fan vlog earlier on, Beth. It's like, it seems to me that Ten Hag and his staff have sort of got our injury sort of situation right, I think. I would love to ask the question, if we had the chance, to Ten Hag, as how he's actually treating the injuries now, because players are not being rushed back. Obviously, we heard the Martial interview and everything like that, but it seems like Martial has been on the peripherals for quite a while, but he's not bringing him in. He's making sure he's ready to come in. He's not going to risk him. But you just said it then, the International World Cup. It's international break now, and October is stacked with games. This is where I start to get nervous about what we were just talking about with Jordan there, that defensive partnership, because we all know what happens to a certain Frenchman every time he goes on international duty. I don't even want to look at the news, but Raphael Varane, when he plays for France, my heart is in my mouth, Beth. This is the moment, isn't it? It's like first international break. Here we go. Because if we get anything like that, and we're seeing Harry Maguire come back into this team, then especially for the derby, it starts to get, it looks different, doesn't it? It's got a different outlook about it.
It's mental how important, not Raphael Varane, and obviously Lisandro Martinez doesn't seem as injury prone, which is a good sign.
Very good.
But like with Raphael Varane, he's now, like, we talk about signings, he's like a new signing. It's like we signed him this summer instead of last summer. He's honestly been ridiculously good. And he's such a leader at the back as well. I saw I don't know who it was now, but someone on TalkSport was saying they didn't think he was a leader. I mean, you clearly don't watch our games week in, week out, but he's such a leader. He transforms that back line. And it's no disrespect to Harry Maguire and Lindelof, but it's just like when they play, like you saw it in the Sociedad game, it just nowhere is the same level. And it starts from the back. Like Jordan was just saying, it's amazing to go into games actually being confident that you're not going to score. Dallow's come on leaps and bounds. I don't know if it's just because of Ten Hag in general or because he's playing with a solid back four that all have trust in each other. I just think it's so, so important. Like you said, there's certain players in that squad that we can't afford to get injured. Eriksen's one of them. Varane's one of them. I mean, Dallow's one of them. It is a little bit on eggshells at the moment. So I'm just hoping, like you said, international duty, we don't get too many injuries. When a forward player gets injured, we have slight cover now in areas. But that defensive line and midfield, it's really, really important that they stay fit.
Yeah. Is Eriksen still playing international football? Was he retired?
I think he is, yes.
Yeah.
Wrap him up in cotton wool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Charlie, I'm sure it was you. Was it Gabby Agbonlahor that Beth was referring to in terms of who would you rather have as a centre-back, Raphael Varane or who was it?
It was Adam Webster, I think.
Webster.
Right, and he said Webster, yeah.
And Agbonlahor went with Webster over Varane. I mean, that tells you everything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's what people... That's the perception that people have had over Manchester United over these last 2 years, Charlie. Do you feel like if we keep going at this rate, the way we are, people are going to have to start talking in a more positive light? Because I'm hearing not Charlie Savage, sorry. I'm hearing Robbie Savage in the commentary tonight. He's saying, can United do what them big teams do? Can they go and get that third and fourth and just have that cutthroat mentality? We just don't have that, do we? We don't have that next level, do we, at the moment? It's very safe, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, like, I guess we haven't been winning enough games to even consider going and scoring that third and fourth goal. So it must feel almost like foreign to be in a game and be quite comfortable for once. So, it's more, as I say, winning games is a habit. So the more that we do it, the more comfortable we'll be with it. And obviously it breeds confidence within the players. And I think, I mean, look, you look at Arsenal, obviously, before we played them, they're obviously undefeated and everyone's getting ahead of themselves, saying they're title contenders and stuff. So if we carry on putting in performances and winning, it won't take long for the conversation to be brought up of, can Manchester United challenge for titles or top four and trophies and stuff. So look, if we keep winning, I keep coming back to this thing that I'm saying of, even if we don't win, because there will be times where we don't win, but as long as we put in a performance, it's fine. Sometimes you're gonna lose a game of football, but as long as the performance is there, then you've kind of got to just take it on the chin against the better teams. We could play out of our skin against Manchester City, and they could just be the better team on the day, and you've just got to hold your hands up, or it could be against West Ham or something like that. But as long as we go into every game, one game at a time, and go in wanting that 3 points, willing to die for each other, then what more can you ask?
That's it. I mean, Jordan, you touched on Christian Eriksen there, wrap him up in cotton wool. It just goes to show, and they were alluding to it in the commentary as well tonight. Obviously, I don't get a chance to listen to many commentaries because I'm usually at every single game. So it was interesting to see how other people actually looked at the game and how they viewed it. But
the best one tonight, I tell you that.
Yeah, it was
the midfield area, Jordan. It's like, and I would always have this argument with Ricky, and Ricky would go on, you have to play so many defensive players, but we've gone to one holding midfielder and look 20 times better and stronger at the back because we've got players who can actually hold on to the ball and take the ball in possession comfortably, rather than having the destroying defensive type midfielders. But Eriksen, I think, has been the key to all of this system working personally. I mean, I've not spoken to you for a while, Jordan. As Eriksen, I've said so far, signing of the window in terms of how much we got him for and what influence he's had. I mean, where are you at with Eriksen? And again tonight, how did you see his performance like tonight?
Yeah, I think we all kept saying that Eriksen was a no-brainer on a free transfer. Yeah, there was talk about we've paid him crazy wages or whatnot, but to be honest, I don't really care. We paid Pogba crazy money, and look what happened with that. So for me, the wages wasn't ever a thing. It was, can we get the deal done? I was convinced that he wanted to play Champions League football. He wanted to stay in London. He was going to go back to Spurs, or he would have went to Brentford. The fact that we've got him and what he's delivering for us is madness. That we got him for free. When you think of the money we've absolutely wasted on players to try and unlock defenses, and then we've picked Eriksen up for free, it's madness. For me, he's still not the sign of the summer. For me, Martinez is at the moment, just because of how much pain and nightmares our defense has given me over the last 18 months. I would go for Martinez at the moment. But again, Eriksen just oozes class, and he can pass a ball in a way that not many players in the league can pass a ball, and it's filled the rest of the forward line with confidence that they can make certain runs, and they know there's a player now that can find them.
Exactly that. I totally agree with that. Actually, in terms of Eriksen, he's been a breath of fresh air, and he's just got that perfect partnership with Varane now. It's like the destroyer and the Rolls Royce. I mean, I said it a few weeks ago. It's the closest that I've seen of Ferdinand and Vidic. Obviously, still nowhere near, but the closest we've seen, especially over the last decade, anyway. But yeah, absolutely in total agreement with that there. But I mean, Beth, the only player that you said we haven't seen is Casemiro. McTominay still doing his bits, consistent. It's the most consistent that I've seen Scott McTominay ever. To be honest, ever. And to keep someone like Casemiro out. But I think it was Jordan again who said it earlier on today. Casemiro came on in that second half and did things that only experienced Champions League winning midfielders know how to do. I mean, there was a point where he was tracking one guy across the whole width of the pitch, and in the end he just got bored and hacked him down and went, yeah, that's me done. That's enough. Job done. Knows when to foul. His tackles are decent. And I think when we get Casemiro settled in with Bruno and Eriksen, I think there's more to come. And that's the positive that you got to take from this little run of form as well, that we know, even with just the personnel we've not got in the team at the moment, like Casemiro and possibly Martial, it can actually get better.
Yeah, it can. I still didn't think Casemiro was great today when he came on. I don't know if that was just me. I just
because you love Scott though, don't you, Beth?
No, it's not even just that. I really wanted him to come on and do really well. I just I thought his passing was better. There's still, so it's weird with Casemiro. Sometimes he does a really good pass, or it's just completely to no one. And I thought he made some unnecessary fouls surrounding the edge of the box, and lost the ball quite a few times. But I can see the end goal with it, and I know he's just kind of settling in. And still, I think maybe just needs that little bit more sharpness. He doesn't look 100% sharp yet, but I can see the end goal with him. But when it comes to, and he will definitely improve, but when it comes to like the players like what you just mentioned, like Scott McTominay and how consistent he's been, it's not even Scott McTominay for me. Obviously, it's him. With him, it's a massive difference because of how bad he was and he's actually playing well now, consistently game by game. And people say it's because Fred's come out of the team and he's around better players. That's one of the reasons, potentially. Yeah, they're all playing with better players. But look at Dalot, how much better he's playing. I mean, look at Rashford, how much better he's been playing. Martial under Ten Hag was playing well. I mean, there's players all over the pitch that have massively improved, and you've got to come down to the manager on this one. I think he's brought in the right type of signings. It's not all been done. But I think coaching-wise, you can't really argue that. You've actually, for once, at Manchester United, you've seen players improve, and it looks like there's a lot more potential in some of these players that a lot of people might have written off not so long ago. So you've got to give Erik Ten Hag his dues, and clearly he's found a role now for McTominay that he's excelling in. And also he's got competition there. We know the lack of depth that we had last season. He's now got Casemiro breathing down his neck. It's only a matter of time. So if he doesn't play out of his skin each game, he knows he's going to get replaced, which I think is really important too.
Yeah, on that, I mean, Charlie, we're all annoyed that we've got no games this weekend, but like I said before, in terms of, like, Beth was praising Ten Hag there, and I'm sort of looking at it in like the injury side of things, but there's every chance here we're looking at it, we're going, oh, it's really bad that we can't continue and carry this little bit of form on, but then you're thinking City next, but the way it's going, this international break could give us a front three of Sancho, Rashford and Martial again, which Ten Hag started pre-season with, or Antony, Martial, Sancho, or Rashford for one or the other, with Bruno behind him and Eriksen behind him. It could give us the chance to get these players fully rested. And England's loss is United's gain in terms of the likes of Rashford and Sancho for me, but it could be a blessing in disguise, Charlie.
Yeah, I think from a selfish point of view, obviously, like, we all want to watch
selfish
football.
on this show, yeah.
we all just want to watch football all the time, don't we? Especially United. So obviously with the obviously no games at the weekends, and then now the 2 weeks international break, it's a shame. But I mean, from the players that are injured, it's obviously it just gives them more time to obviously get back and get fit. And I think look, we could. It was just so key that we won tonight, regardless, because if we lose, as I say, there's no momentum. It would be so lackluster going arguably into the biggest game, obviously, of the season so far. And then, obviously, I mean, Haaland's on fire and City are firing. So it's going to be a tough game nonetheless, whether we won every single game leading up to this anyway. So, it's just, hopefully, it'll be interesting to see if, obviously, Martial is fit by then, if he is just brought straight into the lineup. I'm not sure what you guys think on that as well, because I think obviously the Martial / Rashford / Ronaldo who plays up front debate is quite an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, we've all had plenty of opinions on Martial, his antics, not saying he wants to be at United, the whole Seville scenario and everything like that. Ten Hag's got his arm around him from pre-season going forward. Does he come right into that team from how you've seen Ten Hag set up? Or does he fit that forward line better for you? Is he coming in for the derby?
No, not for me. I think if Rashford's fit, Rashford comes back in. I think he will ease Martial into the team. I think especially after Martial's comments about being played injured, I think you've seen the way he's integrated other players, sort of 20 minutes at a time, 30 minutes, and grown into it. I don't think he throws him straight into a derby, especially with how intense those and high paced those games are. I think how we've gone and beaten Arsenal and how we've beaten Liverpool is the blueprint for how we go against Man City.
I'd do exactly what I think he'll do. Exactly what he did against Liverpool and bring him on in the second half. And have that impact. That impact. I think it'll work really well that way. I agree with Jordan. Like, starting him on that game where you've got to be really intense from the start. You just don't want to pull or do anything like that's going to like get him injured again. But I definitely think, honestly, I don't know if it's just because like I'm quite positive around United. I think with Martial potentially coming on, I think if Rashford's back fit, Antony now in this game, we still need more from him, but he looked a lot better. Sancho as well, consistently scoring not only goals against the big teams, but goals today that was really, really clinical. I think we've got definitely power there to hurt City. It's just keeping them out. It's going to be the issue.
I think the beauty of it is they're all young as well. And they can all sort of swap from one side to the other. If one's not having joy against one fullback, they can swap wings. Like that's what's exciting about it.
Yeah, that's it. Do you feel like that midfield is where it's going to be key against Manchester City? I mean, we've actually got players that can do stuff with the ball now, whereas before it was sort of defend, yeah, that's good, and then hopefully that long ball on the break gets us out of jail. But we could actually have control, some element of control in this game as well with the likes of Eriksen and way Bruno's playing alongside him. And dare I say it, is it a game where he sort of brings the experience of Casemiro in? I mean, that's ideally how I would look at it, ahead of Scott McTominay in this game. But I understand that he is going to play players that are still winning him games. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's the one.
Or is this too big a game, Charlie, against City to actually say that? Do you have to approach it differently because it is City?
I mean, look, I'm going to say all of us here would have said that as soon as we signed Casemiro, he would have or should have started that next game, or should have already, been starting and playing regularly. Obviously, with McTominay playing quite well, I'm guessing that is another reason as to why Casemiro isn't starting. And I mean, I've received absolute pelters from videos on McTominay of the. I've been quoted saying things that I didn't even say and all sorts, but I mean, it depends on how you kind of attack the game against Man City, I guess, because they're not going to be any mugs. They're going to know that we're going to, the blueprint is there for Manchester United and for Man City to see what we're going to do against them. It's quite clear that we're probably going to play over the top through balls to Rashford if he's fit, and they'll obviously try and stop that. And we've obviously got a plan for whatever the robot up front does, right? Like, it will be very interesting to see that kind of matchup of Martinez and Haaland. So, I mean, obviously Casemiro has played in the biggest and best games in the biggest and best competitions. So, I mean, a game against Man City in a derby won't phase him mentally or anything like that. It is just whether, I guess, Ten Hag does feel that this game does suit him. But I mean, I've seen loads of tweets saying that a lot of people would be confident going into this game with McTominay as well, because he does do the right fouls and he does break up play on a good day, and he has some positive attributes. Obviously, in comparison to Casemiro, I think it's night and day. Casemiro will, as Jordan said earlier on in the show, he will take us to that other level, and it's just kind of when Ten Hag actually wants to fully integrate him into that team and have him as a starter. And it's almost like every time there's a new game, I'm like, yeah, he'll start this one, and then he doesn't, and I'm like, oh, he'll start the next one. It's just when's that actually going to happen?
Yeah, totally get that. Well, we are going to finish up by doing our ratings for the players from tonight's game, and feel free to jump in on anyone's opinion on this one as well. But Charlie, seems like you were just talking, and I'm going to start with you. David De Gea didn't really have anything to do until the second half. Rating for you for David?
I mean, what are we going with? An average of what's like an average, like 6, 5?
6.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'd give him a 7. I mean, he did what he had to do. It's always difficult, I think, because I mean, he made the ball didn't go in the back of the net, and he didn't have to do much really. He seemed fine when the ball went to him, and he made the saves when he needed to. So it's just kind of like a 7, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, we like David De Gea not having to do much, don't we?
Yeah, I think, he could have had a night off, couldn't he? It wasn't like that our goal got peppered. 6 for me. Yeah. 6.
Yeah, the comments are saying pretty much the same so far. Beth, what are you going for David De Gea?
Yeah, same as. I'd be happy with a 6 or a 7. I think there's nothing crazy good, but there was nothing he could do that was crazy good. But I'd rather it be that way than him constantly, having to be the saviour.
I would be fuming if David De Gea was going for his 6th player of the season out of the last 10 years. It's not where we want to be as a football club. But Beth, back with you. Your man, Diogo, pulling up trees at the moment. What do you reckon tonight? Was it same again?
I love Dallo, and I think he should have had an assist as well. I mean, that one that Bruno went at the keeper, I think defensively, he's got so much better. I would genuinely, against any team, I would have trust in him now against any winger. I think he's proved himself a lot recently, and I think he's been getting better and better. And also, him getting forward has massively improved. You can see him getting more crosses into the box and better crosses. Remember when he used to hit him and it used to just go like 90 yards out? But now he's actually
one of them in the game. But yeah,
I chose to overlook it because I'm happy with it. I'd probably go 7.5, 7.
7.5. He's getting a 6.5. 6. Yeah.
Come on, it's got to be a 7.
Hovering between
6 or 7.
6. Someone's saying there, one of the members saying 5/6 tonight for Dalot.
I don't agree.
To be fair, it is really hard in these types of games. It is really difficult to give player ratings because it's really like when in hindsight, like it's just a nothing game. Like no one played like really well, and
it's difficult,
you know,
Charlie,
it's a
what
difficult
we watched
thing.
last season.
I'm getting some backup now. I'm getting some backup.
Going from threes and fours and jumping to sevens is very difficult. But yeah, I mean, what you giving Dalot, Charlie, for tonight? Look at tonight's performance. Like, we needed a win in Europa League, first away trip this season in Europe, clean sheet. He looked good going forward. You look at all these sort of things.
Yeah, I'd give him a 7. I think I'd happily, like, I mean, he's been unbelievable in the last few games. He's been, and it's quite clear. It's not just him, obviously, but Malacia as well. What Ten Hag is kind of working on with them as well in terms of like the inverted wing backs, and they almost go into like a midfield position, and then the wingers will almost come into like a wing back role almost. But yeah, I'd say a comfortable 7 for me.
Yeah,
Jordan.
Yeah, I just think there were certain players that we said when Ten Hag come in that we wouldn't be able to sign 10 players. We need to be able to sign 5 or 6, but there needed to be players that massively improved under new management. And for me, he's right up there. I'm going to give him a 7. I thought going forwards, he was great again, and going back, he's not the liability that I used to think he was.
Strong. I've looked at. He looks a lot more strong on the ball. Strong in holding it up as well.
Yeah.
Staying with you, Jordan. Left and right back tonight. Malacia making room for Shaw in the second half. But overall performance tonight, I thought Malacia struggled at the start. Actually, I thought his side was the one that was getting hit more, but he sort of came back into the game and found his feet. I thought. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it definitely felt like they were targeting him in the first half. I'm not sure what they'd seen in his game. I'll give him a 6. Again, he's just you want your fullbacks to be constantly 6s and 7s. Do you know what I mean? You're not looking for star man out of them, and far too long our fullbacks have let us down. So yeah, I'm happy with him. 6.
Yeah, 6s, 6.5s. Everyone's going with on that one. Moving into the dynamic duo. First of all, Rafael Varane, my captain personally. Charlie, you start us off with Varane, mate. What are you saying?
Yeah, probably a 7 for me as well. Really good game. It's just, if anything, it's actually a positive. You don't want to have loads to talk about with your centre backs, right? Otherwise, if they're having to make all these audacious tackles and stuff, it means they're doing something wrong positionally. So, yeah, I mean, we can get Martinez's one out of the way for me as well. I think they were both comfortable 7s.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get your rating on Malacia or yours on Beth. Sorry, I sort of skipped a little bit there. Just give me a quick Malacia.
Don't do a Kev.
I think for the whole back four, I'd go 7s across the board. So Malacia 7 as well. Yeah.
Are you happy with that, Beth, as well? That would you give them all?
I'd give Malacia a 6 if I'm honest. I thought, like you said in the first half, he was getting beat a few times, but I definitely think he grew into the game. And again, he's another player you can see a lot of potential with. And I think he gets forward quite well too. So that's good. But I'd give him a 6. And with Varane and Martinez, to be honest, I mean, it's Sheriff, so it seems silly giving them 8s, but I thought they were 8s. Like for me, like especially Varane for getting forward, I thought his passing was really good tonight. Yeah,
it's 2 centre backs comfortable on the ball. Oh God, yes, we're in dreamland as United fans right now after last season, anyway, aren't we? With that, but yes, moving in, Beth McTominay for his 45 minutes.
A 6. Just I thought he was good, but I don't think he was anything special.
Now, if Ricky was on the show, right now, he would have said, "Look, we dominated the first half and scored 2 goals with McTominay on the pitch, and then we brought him off and we didn't do anything." That's what Ricky would say now.
He would.
We pretty much won the game with McTominay on the pitch. I would agree with saying that. Charlie, what would you say for Scott McSauce?
Yeah, 6.5. Let's go.
Yeah, 6.5. I'd say.
Yeah, another half decent game from him. But again, it's kind of with all of these players, like they didn't really. It was almost like a training game a little bit. You know, as soon as we scored, it was like, yeah, okay, let's take it down a gear, nullify the game. But yeah, I mean, it is just, you know, when you're away from home, these games happen, and 3 points is 3 points, as you say. Sound like I'm in like an interview, you know, and they just stand there and like, yeah, well, good to get 3 points today. Yeah, it's how it is.
That's it. I mean, Jordan, he did what he had to do. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm taking 6s and 7s all season off Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to say 6, but again, what I was saying earlier is that I feel like he's playing at his ceiling, but we know with Casemiro there's levels to this, and I want to see a midfielder be able to pick up the ball and burst forward with it, not just, you know, intercept and not take it to that next level. So 6, but I want my midfielders to be able to offer more.
Yes, that's it. Captain Beth, Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno, it's weird with Bruno because I think he's a brilliant player, and I thought he had a good game. But them back heels, honestly, you should. I wish there was a camera self in my room when he does him. I go absolutely crazy. Like, there's just no need for it. When we're in good positions, he tries to do some stupid little flick on. That's what annoys me. When he does the through balls and doesn't get it right, I'm like, that's fine, because that's going to lead to something. He's trying something there. But them stupid back heels, honestly, I hate them. But for Bruno, for me, I'd probably go 6.5 area.
I'd agree with the 6. Jordan, what are you saying for our captain
6.
tonight?
Yeah, 6. Not one of his best games. Yeah. I also feel like Eriksen is just outshining him constantly.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of using the ball, he's still got that moment, hasn't he, Charlie? And I suppose the work rate, he's not afraid to put it in as well. So that's pretty much keeps him in there. And it's going to be that game when Bruno just absolutely destroys the defense with the defense splitting passes that we know he's got. I mean, as long as he keeps it simple and works hard, I think he'll always stay in that team anyway for Ten Hag.
Yeah, I mean, I think he always attempts these little flicks and tricks. I think for me, in a game like this, he's probably going to try it more because he knows that he can almost get away with it a little bit more as well, because he's probably obviously trusting the defense in that they're not going to go and score from it. You know, Ronaldo tried a few flicks and tricks today as well. So yeah, it's just part of, you know, the kind of Portuguese, Brazilian type way of playing. It's just how they're brought up playing football. But yeah, Bruno for me, I'd go with probably a 6.5 again. Sticking
with the Brazilian South American style, Anthony tonight, Charlie, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd probably just a 6 as well. I don't think I don't know. I feel like he needs to be involved a little bit more, or show, like, when he gets the ball, he's almost adopted or kind of does a little bit what Sancho does in the fact that he gets the ball and then I just want to see just like run at someone, just like don't care about losing the ball, so just run at someone, because I do think like 100% he showed it in the Arsenal game, like there was like no fear, and it's just he just needs to carry that on, and obviously don't do it every time, don't become predictable, but you know, when he gets the ball, when he just kind of might do a few ball rolls and then look back at Dalot and just pass it back to him, like, it's boring. Like, you know, give the fans a little bit to, like, even if you do a couple step overs and try and take it around someone once and it doesn't come off and everyone goes, oh, you know, like, well done though. You know, once every couple of times is something to give the people what they want.
I would like to see both Sancho and Anthony taking a few more risks.
Yeah, we've spent 170 odd million on wingers who I want them to have fullbacks on toast. Yeah. Like, he's picking our ball up. He should be absolutely terrorizing that fullback. And I don't know if it's just, you know, growing into the team confidence or whatever, but yeah, I want to see more from him.
I think
the most frustrating thing is that we know that they can do it, right?
Yeah.
Like Sancho can do it, like, probably every single time, but it's just obviously being able to do it every single time and having the, you know, confidence to do it every single time. Like, he is so skillful on the ball. Like, he is that street footballer almost, the technical aspects that he has in his game, and I'm sure Anthony's you know, the same, if not better at all that type of stuff. It is just kind of having the confidence, which hopefully is obviously what's going to come from winning games and scoring goals.
Yeah, that's it. What, Charlie and Jordan, what were you giving Anthony tonight?
I'd go with a 6 probably.
6.
Yeah, it's ranging between 5 and 7 on the chat. Beth, you was happy with Anthony tonight? Where are you going with your score?
Yeah, I was happy with him. I'm still going with a 6. I thought, do you know what I said? Like, he didn't do anything absolutely amazing, but he was getting a lot more involved than what he did against Sociedad, which I enjoyed. And he did a few things that I quite liked. So it was unfortunate that Sancho goal didn't go in for an assist for him. So I'd still go with a 6, though. It was nothing great, amazing.
Yeah, that's it. Moving across to the man himself, leading goal scorer at the football club, left out of the England squad, Beth. Jadon Sancho, I think has been his, well, the games we've played so far, his best spell for Manchester United.
Yeah, it was weird because midweek I've seen a lot of stick about Sancho from United fans, which I couldn't get my head around. I think a lot of them were frustrated with not seeing that Sancho that takes people on consistently, but I get it. Sometimes with Sancho, either as like for me a really good game, or maybe sometimes you don't notice him as much. But I think there's definitely a play there, and I definitely think consistently getting involved in goals and getting involved in the play, this is his best kind of spell. And I think under Ten Hag, he'll just continue to get better and better. You've got to remember, he's still, how old Sancho, like 22, 23? He's still young, so there's still room for improvement there, 100%. And that goal today was taken so well. I've said, I cannot believe he's not part of the England squad. It's Southgate, honestly, he does not have a clue, genuinely. But I'd give Sancho a 7 today. I thought he was pretty good. I think we skipped Eriksen, by the way, on the ratings.
Yes, we have. Might as well leave Eriksen for last then.
Yeah,
I'll carry on. Yes, Jordan, Sancho and his new shin pads. What are we giving him?
Yeah. He's definitely having more of an influence in games. There was so many times last season where he activated ghost mode and you didn't mention his name for 90 minutes. I'm going to go with a 7.5 with the goal. And yeah, as a Welshman looking in, I don't understand why they haven't took Sancho to
At the moment, Charlie, Sancho is man of the match going off the ratings. What are you giving Sancho?
Yeah, I'd say a 7. I thought, apart from kind of, attacking kind of his fullback more often. I mean, he was easily one of our best players today. He was confident on the ball, and he's very good at when he does cut inside and he does these little 1-2s with Bruno, Ronaldo, whoever it is. He's very good at the link-up play, and obviously most of his goals have come from where someone's laid it off to him, and he's obviously having shots and stuff. And 7. I think I'd go with.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. And that's everyone for Sancho. Let's do Ronaldo. I mean, Jordan, start me on Ronaldo. I mean, apart from the penalty definitely settled him down, in my opinion, but I think he was struggling before that. Ten Hag's talked about his lack of fitness already, like Beth picked up on before in the interview after the game. What are you giving Ronaldo tonight?
I don't think he played great, but because he scored the goal, I'm going to give him 7.
7 goals talk. Beth, what are you saying for Ronaldo?
Probably give him a 6.
6? No, it's fair enough.
It's just like goals are good and everything, but the overall rest of his performance, I didn't think was that great. I thought it was okay, like probably just a bit below average. So I'd give him a 6 in general. Yeah,
Charlie.
I'll go slap bang in the middle of those two. I'll go 6.5, 6.5.
6.5. Last but not least, I'm not going to get into the subs. No need to, because we got like a minute and a half left of the show anyway. Christian Eriksen, Beth.
For me, I would give him an 8. I thought it was.
Beth gone man of the match on the last one.
I thought it was just so good. Like, I know it's Sheriff, but every game you're just getting this Eriksen. Like the way he takes the ball on the half turn and can just see a pass straight away, even if it's a simple one that no one else can see it. He just improved us so much, and every game I rate him more and more. So yeah, 8 for me.
Jordan.
I'm going to agree with Beth. I'm going to go 8 man of the match. I think we've been crying out for that type of player, and he consistently delivers 7 and 8 out of 10s for us, which is something we haven't had. So yeah, 8.
Oh God, I'll say, Charlie.
Honestly, I've said before on here that I actually I'm falling more and more in love with this guy every time he plays for us. he's unreal, and I feel like he is that type of player as well. That even when he has a bad game, it's not actually a bad game, if that makes sense. Like he's just so what we have needed for so long. And I mean, that's coming from me at the start of the season when I said it's a no-brainer to get him, but it was just kind of what part he played, whether he was a squad player or not. And I mean, he's by far obviously proved me and probably a lot of other people wrong. Yeah, I'd go with an 8 also. So 3 man of the matches from us.
Ooh, and no one's agreeing with me that he is the signing of the summer so far. Next time I do a fan forum, we'll see if everyone's changed their mind to saying that he is the signing of.
To be fair,
so far.
I give both him and Martin as a 9 out of 10 on my rating transfers, so he's up there 100%.
Yeah, I think he's got a pip it because he costs now. Okay, moving on. That pretty much sums up the show, guys. Europa League is not what we want to be in, but you got to go for whatever competition you're in. And United have put ourselves back up there into second place in the group. Going well in the league. Shame we can't play any more games. The next one's a big one. It's City away, and then we will see where we're at. That will be a marker post. But for tonight, that will do us. 2-0 away from home in Europe. It's always nice. Another clean sheet away from home, even better. And moving on, everyone's fit. And hopefully when we come back to play City, the whole squad will be fit. And we'll give Ten Hag a full team to pick from. But Charlie, cheers for coming on, mate.
As always, it's always good after a win, no matter how we play. So I'll keep coming back as long as we keep winning. Oh, I'll be here if we lose as well.
Yeah. It's 9:15 here, Jordan, mate. Plenty of time to get out to work. Cheers for coming on.
Take care, guys. Always a pleasure.
And Beth, early tea for you tonight.
Yeah, do you know what? It's going to be. I'm knackered, mate. It's going to be an early night. These 5:45 games. They actually it's weird, but yeah, happy we won anyway.
It is, guys. Cheers for watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe to the United Stand. Thanks for watching. Mine and Charlie's special video will be out tomorrow at 2:00. Another topic one for you, and obviously Mark's in the morning, and of course later on at 8:00 tomorrow night. Unless anything else breaks, we'll be there for it if it does. But guys, cheers for watching. Have a good night. We'll see you all tomorrow.